October 8, 1895. In the pre-dawn hush, a band of intruders slips into Gyeongbokgung Palace, the heart of the Korean kingdom. They are armed, determined, and they know exactly who they're looking for. They storm the Queen's quarters, dragging women out of bed, shouting, overturning furniture. One question echoes through the halls. Where is the Queen? By sunrise, Korea's most powerful woman, Empress Myeongseong, known as Queen Min, is dead. Her body, mutilated and burned, lies in the woods behind the palace. This was not a random attack. This was a political assassination, ordered, planned, and executed by foreign agents and their Korean collaborators. And it changed the fate of Korea forever. To understand why Queen Min was killed, we need to understand the storm brewing around the Korean peninsula in the late 19th century. Korea, then the Joseon Kingdom, had been a tributary state of Qing China for centuries. But by the 1870s, the balance of power in East Asia was shifting. Japan, fresh from its Meiji Restoration, was modernizing fast and hungry for influence. Russia too was watching, eyeing Korea as a strategic outpost near the warm waters of the Pacific. Caught in the middle was Korea. Proud, ancient, and completely unprepared for the geopolitical tug-of-war about to unfold. And standing in the eye of this storm was Queen Min. Born in 1851 to a declining noble family, Min Ja-young married King Go-jong at age 16. At first, she was seen as quiet and unassuming. But Queen Min was clever, educated, politically astute, and ambitious. Over time, she pushed her husband's father, the authoritarian Daewon-gun, out of power and took control of court politics. She supported modernization, Western advisors, new schools, foreign alliances. But most importantly, she saw Japan's growing power for what it was, a direct threat to Korean sovereignty. To counterbalance Japan, she sought closer ties with Qing China and later Imperial Russia. This made her dangerous, not just to Japan, but to conservative Korean factions who feared foreign entanglements, and to her own father-in-law, who loathed her influence. In 1894, Japan made its move. Under the pretext of quelling unrest, Japanese troops landed in Korea. What followed was the First Sino-Japanese War, fought largely on Korean soil. By 1895, Qing China was defeated. Japan had proven itself the new dominant power in East Asia, but Queen Min was still in their way. She had begun purging pro-Japanese officials. She was working behind the scenes to sign treaties with Russia. In the eyes of Tokyo, her removal was not just desirable, it was necessary. Here comes Miura Goro, Japan's newly appointed minister to Korea, a military man with a brutal reputation. He didn't just want to outmaneuver Queen Min politically, he wanted her gone permanently. Goro began to plot, a seasoned Japanese diplomat with military ties. He wasn't working alone. He recruited Japanese soldiers, ronin, masterless samurai, and Korean collaborators who hated Queen Min. Among them, former court guards, hired thugs, and possibly even members of the king's own family. One key figure, the Daewon-gun, King Go-jong's estranged father. He had long opposed his daughter-in-law's influence, and now he was brought back to Seoul. He was installed at a Japanese-controlled military base. Then, in the early hours of October 8, the plan went into motion. The conspirators moved in, fast, coordinated, and deadly. Their mission was remove Queen Min by any means necessary. Before dawn, a group of around 50 men, a mix of Japanese soldiers in civilian clothes and armed Korean collaborators, slipped into the palace. Palace guards were either killed, bribed, or paralyzed by fear. The Queen's quarters were stormed, women screamed, servants were beaten. 3 court ladies were dragged out, and the assassins demanded to know which one was the Queen. Accounts vary, but most agree the assassins stabbed the women repeatedly, then carried one body, believed to be the Queen. There, in the palace woods, they doused the corpse with kerosene and set it on fire. One Japanese officer reportedly stood watch as her body burned, ensuring there would be no trace. One of the few non-Korean witnesses to the assassination was Afanasy Seredin Sabatin, a Russian architect living in Seoul. He reported seeing the palace in chaos, women being dragged, and bodies thrown to the ground. Other testimonies from Korean court ladies describe how the Queen begged for her life before being stabbed in the back, chest, and face. Some accounts claim her body was mutilated, her hair ripped out, or even her fingers severed to remove jewelry. Whether these were embellishments or brutal truths, one thing was clear: Queen Min had been eliminated, and the message was unmistakable. After international outrage erupted over Queen Min's assassination, Japan scrambled to cover its tracks. Miura Goro, the Japanese minister to Korea and the man behind the plot, was recalled to Tokyo and put on trial. But the proceedings? An absolute farce. The court claimed there was no conclusive evidence that the murder had been premeditated. And just like that, Miura walked free. No one was punished. No one was held accountable. Back in Korea, the aftermath was chaos. The king, traumatized and fearing for his life, fled the palace in secret. He sought refuge in the Russian legation in Seoul, where he remained under Russian protection for nearly a year. It was a stunning reversal. The Korean monarch sheltered by the very empire Queen Min had hoped could counter Japan's growing power. Queen Min's remains were never fully recovered. Only a single finger bone was found, buried with full imperial honors. After her death, King Gojong gave her a new title, Empress Myeongseong, a tribute and a quiet act of defiance. Their son, the future Emperor Sunjung, inherited a court shattered by fear and betrayal. The palace was no longer a place of safety, but of silence. The Yulmi incident, as it came to be known, wasn't just an assassination. It marked the beginning of the end for Yosan Korea and the first step toward decades of foreign domination. Empress Myeongseong is remembered today not just as a victim, but as a symbol of resistance. A woman who dared to confront empires and paid the price. Her assassination laid bare the ruthlessness of imperial ambitions and the vulnerability of a nation divided from within. Within 15 years of her death, Korea would be fully annexed by Japan. A royal dynasty that had lasted over 500 years was gone. But Queen Min's memory endured, banned by colonial powers, rediscovered by historians, and now honored by a nation that finally tells her story. History is not kind to women who wield power, but Empress Myeongseong's story refuses to be buried, not even by fire. If you found this video insightful, consider subscribing. More stories are just a click away.